Okay, I'm going to try to answer the question for you of how to make deviled eggs. Now, I think we all have a recipe for deviled eggs. We've all had them. Our mothers, our grandmothers, our family, ourselves, everyone has a recipe for deviled eggs. So what I'm doing is I'm going to show you a little twist on deviled eggs and a few little small techniques that will make this a little easier for you the next time you are compelled to make them. And they are very nice, and you can make them in advance also. So what I did is I boiled a bunch of eggs, and I took all the yolks out of them. Here, I want you to scoop down into the table, Richard. And I have the eggs here, the halves, which are just the whites. And inside of these, I put a couple of capers, a little bit of chopped Kalamata black olive, and a little bit of roasted red pepper. Now, I have a food processor here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the mixture. We're going to put it into a pastry bag. I'm going to show you how to load the bag and hold the bag and how to pipe the mixture onto the eggs. Then we're going to decorate the top of the eggs, and I'm going to place them into this nest here of alfalfa sprouts, which are kind of there for a couple of good reasons. The first reason is, first, you can eat them, and so that's the practical point of view. The other practical use of the sprouts is it keeps the eggs from sliding around on the plate, and then it also lends the idea that you're eating eggs out of the nest, and this is kind of a nesty way of serving them, okay? So let's make the stuffing first by putting the yolks in a food processor. And we're going to put a little bit of mayonnaise in there. Now remember one thing about making this mixture in the food processor, and that is that you don't want to make it too wet because it won't pipe well. So you want to get just the right texture. And I guess we have 2, 4, so we have about a dozen egg yolks in here right now, and about 2/3 or half of a cup of mayonnaise. And if you look on the recipe, I'll give you the exact amount, of course. But all right, here we go. Let's give this a little zap. I'm going to scrape this down a little bit. Now, I see how tight it is. It's a little tighter than I want it to be, so I'm going to put a little bit more mayonnaise in it. As I want to arrive, I'm going to put a little bit of pepper in here also, and a little bit of salt. What I'm looking for now, besides the taste, of course, is the texture that will be able to effectively be piped through. Now, if you don't use a pastry bag, of course, you can place this into the eggs with a teaspoon also. Okay, let's scrape that down. Looks like we're doing okay here. I can take still a little bit more mayonnaise, but you notice I didn't put all the mayonnaise in at once that I think I needed. I don't want to accidentally put too much in there. Okay, now it's moving the way I want it to move too. All right, I'm going to stop right there. And we're going to load the pastry bag. It's time to get rid of this. Oops, getting capers in there. We don't want that. They might clog up the tip. Get that caper out of there. Get out of there. Okay. Now what I have here is a disposable plastic pastry bag, and you can buy these in the supermarket, and I have a little star tip on the end. Now you could actually do this without a tip, but then of course you wouldn't have the little design that the tip provides when it comes out, okay? Let's see if we can get this in the bag. Hold on a second. Notice how I have the bag wrapped around my hand. It's like overhanging me so I can load it. That would be the general way that you would load it. Let's say you were putting whipped cream in here to put it on your dessert. You would load the bag the same way and pipe the bag the same way. And I'm going to show you a little bit about how to hold that bag when you're doing that sort of thing. Okay. I think we got as much as we're going to get out of there. You can test the tip, okay? Have to do that. Sorry about that. All right. Now twist the back of the bag a little bit. Now, one of the things I'm not going to do, which is what the tendency that people have to do when they're trying to use the pastry bag, is they go like this, and they're trying to do this. But instead, you're going to hold it like this and aim it a little bit, okay? So here, come on down here, Richard, and let's take a look. Boom. Boom. See how that just, pull it away so it doesn't get stuck. You getting a good look at this, Richard?
Great shot.
You notice how the tip offers you a little, I'm twirling the tip a little bit. By the way, it tasted good in terms of the salt and pepper part. And I'm going to show you how to clean one of these eggs and fill it the way I did right now. So I have one here that I was saving for you. And cut the egg in half. Take the yolk out. And what I did was I put a couple of capers. And this is kind of what makes this what I call Mediterranean style stuffed eggs, because it has these Mediterranean type foods in them. Little peppers, roasted peppers, Kalamata olives, capers. Put a little bit of each in there. I'm going to put some on the top of all of these also, see? So that's what I did to all of these before we opened up this video shot. And now boom, once again. Okay. So now we got our eggs all piped and filled. Now, in some cases, and I just want to say something about the word deviled eggs and what it means, what it used to mean, and what I think it should mean, and what I want to make sure you understand, and that is that you always see little red powder on your deviled eggs. Now, for some reason, in the United States, the tradition has been the use of paprika for this, but in fact, cayenne pepper is normally what has been used on this kind of item. That's why they're called deviled eggs, because they have that little hot bite. So if you use paprika, you're not really technically making deviled eggs, even though you are, because that's what people look at when they see them, and that's what they expect, whether it's paprika or cayenne pepper. But I'm using cayenne pepper today, so to me, they're more deviled eggs, okay? So now, I'm going to take and put a little bit more of the garnish on top of the eggs. The same stuff that I have inside. And of course, we're going to be putting olive oil and fresh dill on these. And dill and olive oil are made for eggs, as far as I'm concerned. These look good. So far, so good. And let's throw a little caper on top of all these. So now you could bypass this particular part and just have what's inside the egg be the little surprise, but I kind of like to put them on top because I think it just looks better, and there's more tasting of these particular flavors that I'm putting on the egg. Okay. So now we got some capers on all of those. Now we're just going to put a teeny little bit of pepper on these, and you see it also. This makes them. Gives them a little bit more color. Now I'm making them separately on this plate rather than over here, because you want to get them all made here and then move them over there, which we're going to do in a minute. These are starting to look pretty good. I like these. Every time I make these for somebody, they like them. They just eat them and say, hey, you know, this is a different kind of deviled egg. I really like this. Okay, now I'm going to put a little bit of the cayenne pepper on there. You want to be careful you don't put too much on, but this is where the little red powder comes in that you're so used to seeing on your deviled eggs. But, of course, if you don't want anything hot like that, then don't do it. Use the paprika. So, I got a little bit of chopped dill. I'm going to put a little bit of that on there, too, like that. And then before I put little sprigs of dill on for decoration, which is what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the olive oil on first because you don't want to soak the sprigs of dill with the oil. So you want to put a little bit of olive oil on here, like that. Now I have some pieces of dill here. I put a nice little branch of dill on the top of each one. And they're getting cuter and cuter as we go along here, as you can see. Of course, you could use your imagination and use whatever you wanted in terms of the little fillings. I recommend this combination. Great to take to a party, very inexpensive to make. You can make them in advance of serving them. You can make them even a whole evening before if you're going to take them somewhere. This is such a tradition, these things are, in the United States during holidays. I think when you show up with these, it'll kind of... All right, they are pretty much done. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put them into these little nests over here that I got set up. I'll show you one way you can do a little presentation. Notice how they stay nice and stable because of the nest. I'm dying to eat one of these. This looks like this is a fun little deviled egg, you know? And you can take that piece of information I just gave you about the cayenne pepper versus the paprika and straighten out your associates with that when they're putting the paprika on. They say, hey, those aren't deviled eggs. What are you doing there? All right. You know, looks like we needed these other two to fill it up. Okay, let me see here now. I think we got a few deviled eggs here now. What do you think about that? Believe me, as soon as this camera goes off, we are going to dive into these eggs and eat them. But anyway, there it is. It's a simple recipe. It's very inexpensive. It's a nice twist for a different kind of holiday deviled egg things, and it's got some different flavors, you know. But I hope I helped you in your quest and search for the good deviled egg. Enjoy this one.